probably you know the scenario of, you know, a regular teacher who just loves, you know, I love different methodology books, and I love course books, and whenever there is anything new published, and I would like to see it. But the problem is that, you know, it is expensive. These books are really expensive, and second of all, well, yeah, we need this time, which is really precious, and of course we should spend some time reading, but let's face it, it is not always that easy as one might think. Yes, so that's why you know, quick teaching tips is something that will help you either brush your knowledge or learn something, and then, you know, and then you can use it or just in the classroom. So these quick teaching tips is about reading skills. Yes, so we've got reading skills in the classroom, and if you would like to have, you know, different ideas and for the reading tasks, pre-reading tasks, skimming, scanning, so go to my website How to Teach, and you can download this one for free. There are a few good pages of different ideas for different stages of reading based lesson, and you even have got in blue, you even have got exact instructions that you can literally use. So if you prepare your own you know, materials, and sometimes you think how to write clear instructions for reading part, then here it is. So you can literally just copy and paste it, and you don't have to think about it, you know. And each of them has got each of these tasks, they have got around 7 to 8 different ideas, which is, I think, it's literally enough if you think about it, and if you mix them, and you've got a well set of different ideas for reading tasks. So all you need to do is to find different reading tasks, but we're going to talk about it in next video. So now we're going to dive into reading skills, and my name is Marta, and welcome to How to Teach. So both reading skills and listening skills are so-called receptive skills, whereas speaking and listening skills are called productive skills. Extensive reading is something that you do outside of classroom normally, so this is reading books, novels, short stories, whereas intensive reading, this is usually something that you do during the lesson with your students. So it's reading a piece of, you know, text, and with a purpose to do different activities with regards to this text. And now we're going to look at different stages of your reading-based lesson. So developing reading skills is not really about understanding every single word. It's physically impossible, and besides it would take ages, and then you would get into different, you know, problematic explanations when it comes to different grammar, language structure. So, and this is not really something that we do in our everyday life. When it comes to reading in the classroom, you basically want to get a general idea of the text. You want to get into some detailed questions with regards to the text. You want to have a bit of language development, but you just choose certain words, vocabulary, group words, grammar structures, something that you want them to learn during this lesson. But by no means you should go and just look up every single word. It won't work. No, it won't. So just to clarify, developing reading skills is about getting a general idea of the text, finding some useful information in the text, learning some interesting language structures that appear in the text, and practicing the pace of reading. Quite often students, they need develop their reading skills in order to take different exams. So there are different Cambridge exams, for instance. You know, there is a variety of different language exams, and usually during these exams, reading is one of the exam tasks. So you've got multiple choice, you've got, you know, gap filling, you've got matching the paragraphs to the headline. So these are the skills they want you to teach them. So just make sure that you know the requirements of these exams before you start, because they may differ a bit. So for instance, this year I'm preparing my students for Trinity exam, and this is something that I just learned and I've just found out this year, you know, and I keep finding new different not rules, but, you know, characteristics of this exam. So just make sure that you know the requirements, you know what this exam is about and what skills they need to practice. So how to teach reading skills to EFL or ESL students. So there are 4 main tasks that you need to go through in your reading, in your reading-based lesson. So the first one is the pre-reading task. It will help students activate their current knowledge and link to the topic they're going to read about. So the good way of introducing your pre-reading task, it could be pre-teaching some vocabulary. This is one useful way, or it could be some predictions about the text. So very, very typical one is you need to find a photo that's related to the text, or it could be even a photo in your course book, and what you just say, look at the photo, or a title, a keywords, a piece of a text, or headlines, and predict what the text is about. As I said, pre-teaching vocabulary, phrasal verbs, keywords, idioms, collocations, they are very useful as well. Here you have more of these different ideas for the pre-reading task. Right. Number 2 is a reading task. So this is the first time reading. And it's so-called skimming. Usually we use this strategy in the first time reading. And skimming, so students read something very quickly just for get the general idea of the text. So it is, for the gist. And some ideas that could be really useful here could be, check the reading against the predictions that you were just predicting something in your pre-reading task, and now you want to check your check your answers against the predictions, or put the paragraphs in the correct order. A general question about reading, or it could be what type of what type of text is it? So is it an article? Is it an email? Genre as well. So again, you've got a list of different ideas with clear instruction here that you can use during this stage of your lesson. So remember, skimming, so it's just listening for general idea. Okay. So number 3, so we read the text for the second time. So now we don't ask students to read it very quickly. Now they scan the text, so they read the text for a specific piece of information, right? So they need to, so it's so-called detailed reading. So they need to find a specific, piece of information from the text to answer some questions. So possible ideas here could be reading comprehension questions, so detailed questions about the text, yes, or vocabulary check. You want them to match the words in bold with the text, in the text with the definition. It could be some grammar, underline, comparative, or adjectives. We've got some of the other scanning activities that you could use here with a possible note. So once you've got the detailed questions answered, it's actually a good way to move on to, for instance, your grammar stage of the lesson. So after scanning, you want them, for instance, to underline some comparative forms of adjectives, and then you move on to the next stage, which is of course the adjectives and comparative forms of adjectives. And actually, if you ask them to underline something and first to look for certain grammar structures in the text before actually moving on to this stage, this grammar stage, this is for you, this time to check what they actually know about a certain grammar structure, because sometimes it may happen that they know quite a lot. So you can just kind of then skip a few stages, like a proper explanation, or they might be totally lost, and then you know that you have to literally start your grammar explanation from the very beginning. So after scanning, it is really useful to, if this is your grammar-based lesson, you can, instead of having kind of very typical presentation stage at the beginning of the lesson of your grammar, you can start with nice reading, ask them to underline some grammar structures, and then you move on to your grammar presentation, basically. So is, you know, a different way of introducing, and then you've got both reading skills and grammar-based lesson. And number 4 is follow-up activities. So after, you know, scanning, if you're not moving on to, of course, grammar, you know, any explanations, then you may want to create some follow-up activities with the use, for instance, of some vocabulary or different language structures, idioms, phrasal verbs from the text. And usually follow-up activities are rather productive, and we know that productive is speaking and writing. So you could create some role plays, for instance. You can, you know, ask them to write something, a summary. It could be different speaking, like debates, for instance, or, you know, write an email. So there are all sorts of different, you know, follow-up activities that you can use. So that's all for today. So I hope you found it useful, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up. It really means a lot to me. And please don't forget to download, you know, the whole PDF PDF folder with different reading ideas, and you've got clear instructions there as well. So if you need to prepare different reading tasks, you've got these instructions there, and it's all for free. So just go to How to Teach and download, you know, the PDF folder there. And please, you know, stay with me because every week I post something. You know, my general interest is methodology itself, and it's also teaching English to children, then technology in the classroom, CLIL as well. Generally, when it comes to methodology, grammar not only, but different reading skills as well. International schools, the whole business behind, you know, language teaching. So productivity and, you know, planning as well. So this year we're going really paper. We're trying to go more paperless at our school. So this is something that I actually I have become, you know, quite good, which is kind of in contradiction with PDF versions. Well, you know, I still like the nice, you know, kind of printed versions of different activities, but still. So if you would like me to prepare something quicker, a certain video, and you would like, you know, to kind of find out something about, you know, certain aspects of teaching, and I can help you in this matter, then just put that in your comment below, and I'll be happy to create that kind of video. And if you would like also to, you know, if you are at the beginning of your teaching career and you're thinking about the different options, then I've gone through quite a lot of them so far, so I'll happily, you know, share my experience with you as well with regards to this one. And yeah, so, you know, How to Teach is signing off for today. So it's almost it's quite dark outside. So see you next week, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and just, you know, press the bell little bit so you would get notified of, you know, my videos, which are posted every week on How to Teach. Okay, so have a wonderful week, and see you in 1 week time. Bye bye.